thank you for joining me today for Reading Represents. My name is Miss Hannah. I'm with the Chesapeake Public Library, and I am so glad you are joining us today. We are going to start by singing an intro song together so that everybody can feel welcome and ready to read and learn and play today. So we're going to use a few American Sign Language signs for some of the words in our song that we're going to sing together. So I'm going to teach you those signs first so that you can use them and follow along while we're singing the song. So the first sign I'm going to teach you today is read. So you hold one hand up like it's a book and you do this with the other hand. Take your fingers down the hand for the word read. And the next word that we're going to learn today is together. Take your two hands with thumbs up, put them together like this, do the motion, and that is the American sign for together. So we've got read and we've got together. We're going to learn the sign for happy, which is this. You take your two hands, palm out, and you make a brushing motion on the front of yourself like this, happy. Okay? And then we're going to learn the sign for learn, which is very easy. Put your hand up like you have information in your hand and put that information in your head. Learn. Learn. Okay. The next sign we're going to learn is done. When we're done, we do that sign. Done. All right. And finally, we're going to learn the word for fun or play, which is this, which is a hard sign to do because it's hard to do that with your fingers, but practice it and see if you can use that sign for play or fun in our song today. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you the words to the song. We're going to sing it once through fairly slowly so you can learn them, and then we'll sing it faster together, okay? And I'm so glad you joined us, so here is our welcome song. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. All right. So the next part goes like this. We read things to learn things. We read things for fun. We read things together until we are done. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. All right, let's try doing that a little bit faster. And it goes like this. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. We'll read things to learn things, we'll read things for fun, we'll read things together, and then we are done. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. Great job! Thank you so much for singing with me. The Best Sukkot Pumpkin Ever by Leah Steinberg, illustrated by Colleen Madden, published by Car-Ben Publishing. Let's learn about the Jewish festival of harvest and Thanksgiving. Micah leaped out of the car, landing in tractor tracks that snaked through the mud by the edge of a huge field. "I'm going to find the best pumpkin ever," he exclaimed. A cool breeze mussed up Micah's hair. "This chilly fall wind is chasing away the last bit of summer," said Mom. "Perfect weather for Sukkot," Dad added. "Come on," Micah yelled as he ran to join the other families from their synagogue. "Thanks for volunteering," said Farmer Jared. "We have lots of pumpkins to pick before the frost comes. The more you find, the more we'll donate to the soup kitchen." "What's a soup kitchen?" Micah whispered to his mother. "A place where people in need can go to get a meal without having to pay for it," Mom replied. Farmer Jared nodded. "Our pumpkins will feed lots of hungry people." Dad explained, "When we help others like that, we're taking part in Tikkun Olam, repairing the world." "And in return for helping out, each of you can choose a pumpkin to take home," Farmer Jared added. "I'm going to save my pumpkin for Sukkot. Micah said. The children raced into the field. Some pumpkins were easy to spot, their skins glowing like the midday sun. But Micah was on the lookout for a great big one. Micah got down on his hands and knees and lifted a giant leaf. Ouch! The vine was prickly, but underneath was a perfectly ripe pumpkin. Found one! He yanked and pulled, wrenched and twisted until finally it came free from the vine. Micah pushed aside more leaves. And another! Micah collected more and more pumpkins, some with smooth skins, some with ridges, and even a lumpy one that was flat on one side. But not one was big enough to be his perfect Sukkot pumpkin. Look at how many we picked, Lila exclaimed. But I still haven't found the best one, said Micah. Micah ran to the farthest corner of the field. He searched and foraged, lifted and shifted, until finally, I found it, Micah yelled. He threw his arms around a huge pumpkin, as round and full as the moon on Sukkot. Micah heaved and tugged, pushed and shoved. The pumpkin wouldn't budge. I need help, Micah called out. Other kids came running. This must weigh more than a tractor, Ari exclaimed when he tried to lift the pumpkin. Together, they rolled the pumpkin all the way back to the truck. Micah couldn't wait to show off his enormous, perfect pumpkin. Then Micah remembered what Farmer Jared had said about the soup kitchen. Micah took a deep breath and said to Farmer Jared, "Here, this one's for soup." Farmer Jared smiled. What a kind offer. We don't use the large pumpkins for cooking, but it will make a wonderful decoration. Micah headed back to the field. He searched and scoured, raked and rummaged. Finally, he spotted it, a perfect little pumpkin, the best Sukkot pumpkin ever. Micah could almost taste the delicious soup and the sweet and spicy pumpkin pie this pumpkin would make. His family always had so much delicious food on Sukkot. Not everyone was as lucky as his family. Micah placed his perfect small pumpkin on Farmer Jared's truck. This one is for the soup kitchen, too. For cooking, he said proudly. As he stepped back, he felt something squishy beneath his feet. It was a spongy, moldy pumpkin, and it smelled like wet socks. Ew, this one's rotten. That pumpkin will break down into compost and feed the soil next spring, Farmer Jared explained. Micah knelt down. He pried open the pumpkin's mushy flesh and studied the inside. It was filled with seeds. He scooped out a few and slipped them into his pocket. Micah rushed over to his mom. Look, Mom, he held out his empty hands. I found the best pumpkin. Is your pumpkin invisible? Asked Mom. Micah laughed. I donated my perfect big pumpkin to be a decoration. I donated my perfect small one for soup. And I left the perfectly mushy one for compost. But I kept these. Micah smiled as he pulled out his seeds. The best Sukkot pumpkins ever for next year. The end. Let's talk a little bit about pumpkins. So I bet when you think of a pumpkin, you think of something big and round and orange, right? Well, that's what a pumpkin looks like when it's all grown up and ready to go. But did you know that if you cut open a pumpkin and you look inside and you see those tiny little white seeds, that's what a pumpkin starts out as. So let's go through a pumpkin growth cycle together so that you can learn the stages of growth for a pumpkin. So we're going to put our seed up here first. They are delicious to eat, but if you don't eat them, they can grow into another pumpkin. And the way they do that is by being planted in the soil. So they will grow a little tiny sprout first with those little green leaves on top. And then that sprout is going to turn into a vine. And that vine is going to have bigger green leaves on it. And then a flower is going to appear on the vine. They have beautiful flowers. They're usually a yellowish color. And then when that flower drops off, you're going to get little tiny pumpkins, but they don't start out as orange pumpkins. They're going to start out green. And our green pumpkin is going to be small, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And finally, when it's ready to be picked, it's going to turn into a large orange pumpkin. And then you can take this large orange pumpkin home and you can decorate it, or you can make pumpkin pie or another pumpkin dish with it, or you can just leave it to look at because they're really fun and they definitely say autumn. Let's sing a song today about apples. Do you like eating apples? Do you get your apples from the grocery store or maybe a farmer's market? Did you know that they come from trees? That's right. Somebody goes out to pick those apples from the tree and then you get to eat them. So we're going to take these two apples on this tree and sing a song about them. You want to help me? All right, here we go. Way up high in the apple tree, two little apples smiled at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came the apple. It sure was good. Should we try that again? Because there's one more apple up there. All right. Way up high in the apple tree, one little apple smiled at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came the apple. It sure was good. All right, thanks for singing. Fall Harvest by Sophie Geister-Jones, published by Focus Readers. Fall is a time for harvest. Let's learn all about it. On the farm. Fall is here. Farmers are busy. It is time for the harvest. Harvest is when farmers gather crops. Crops are plants we can eat, like this corn. In the store. The farmers sell their crops. People buy the food in stores. People buy pumpkins. People buy apples. These foods are part of the harvest. On the table. People eat the foods. They bake pumpkin seeds. People make apple pie. People make apple juice. The fall harvest is good. The end. Autumn is the season of harvest. But you can't harvest anything if you didn't plant the garden first, right? So let's do that together today. Here is my garden. I'm going to plant it with care. I'm going to take some seeds and I'm going to put them there in the rows of soil. The sun will shine and the rain will fall. And up will grow my garden straight and tall. Look at all those delicious looking fruits and vegetables. Let's see what we can find in there. Okay, come in closer because they're really tiny. We've got some broccoli, some pumpkins, onions, eggplant, tomatoes growing on a vine. We've got radishes and beets under the soil along with carrots and potatoes. We have a squash vine over here, some peppers. Those ones look spicy. Some bell peppers, cabbage, And in the middle, we've got standing tall and proud, some corn. You can make a fantastic salad with all those fruits and vegetables that we grew in our garden and harvested. Thank you so much for joining me today for Reading Represents. Let's sing a goodbye song together, and I'll see you next time. Oh, it's time to say goodbye for today. Oh, it's time to say goodbye for today. Can you wave your arms like this? Can you blow a little kiss? Mwah! Oh, it's time to say goodbye for today. See you next time.